Well, I'm excited. This is Sabrina Gibson with Imagine Wow, and we get to interview some of the coolest experts across the United States. And I've got Ray Majors-Wildman with me, and she's the CEO. Yay! She's the CEO and founder of Ray Majors-Wildman International. She's the president and founder of the International Association of Women Entrepreneurs and Professionals. She's an award-winning and best-selling author, business strategist, amazing speaker, and all-around super-duper cool lady. So I'm excited to have you here, Ray.
I am so excited to be here, Sabrina.
Well, I have to tell you, I will never ever forget your name.
Really?
Yep, my middle name is Ray, and spelled the same way. So cool. Well, tell me this, how did you get to be an expert at being a business strategist and helping all these amazing women?
Well, I became an expert. It was actually accidental. You know, when I first started this path, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I was taught by my parents that if you're lucky, you'll go to work for somebody, you'll work for them for 30 years, and you get to retire. And when my youngest son was 6 months old, he actually got injured in daycare. That made me decide, you know what, I can't do this. And as a mom, you know, I had to make a decision. Am I going to be caught up in this corporate world, or am I going to do something to really create a better life for my family? And so I decided to start my first business, which was a family daycare, and I ran that up to the time he became school age. And then at that point I realized, you know what, I am not employable. And so I got into sales, and I actually was in mortgages and did that very successfully over almost 7 years. In the interim, people were saying, well, how is it that you're able to consistently close anywhere between 20 to 25 loans per month, and yet you only work 30 hours a week, and you consistently take off a week a quarter? How do you do that? And from that, I actually started sharing my strategies and my systems that literally would help my clients grow their business and yet keep a balanced life in the process.
How cool is that? So you can thank your son for that, right? Isn't it amazing how our kids become amazing inspiration?
Yes, he is.
How old is your son now?
Well, it's oh my God, he is in his first year of college, and so I am officially an empty nester. And you know, he's been with me when I do live events, and it's funny because he gets to hear the story, and he's all like, "Oh, Mom," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're the reason." But yeah, he's doing really well in school.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, tell me this: what are the 3 top problems that you solve for businesses?
So the 3 problems that I saw, what I find is that the majority of the people that I run into, they are struggling with how do they scale? How do they scale their business? They're kind of like the chief of everything officer, and I help them really create a business that is not a job. So that's the first thing I do. I also help them to identify and to hire what I like to call a winning rock star or superstar employee. And then lastly, I help them with marketing. In this world of, you know, online and offline marketing, the challenge with a lot of entrepreneurs is how do I become visible? How does my message penetrate through all the chaos and all the noise? So I teach them how to stand out and be memorable so that they create, at the end of the day, marketplace evangelists. And those are those people who are, I like to call the ideal client. They're happy, open, and willing to pay you top dollar for your products and service. Plus, they are the individual who go out into the marketplace and they refer all of their friends and family to you as well.
Yeah, those are great people to have in your cheering section, aren't they? I think I heard something, you only need 4 of those, and you'll have a plethora of leads coming to your business. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. And it's really helping them to identify who are they trying to reach. You know, at the end of the day, you can do a lot of marketing, you can get a lot of people, but are they the right people? Are they going to be those, the energy vampires, the one that drains you, that when you see their name on your calendar or their phone number shows up on your caller ID, you're like, oh no. So, life is too short. And life is too long to be working with people who really don't value what you bring into this world.
So true, so true. I love that feature on your phone where you can send people directly to your voicemail. So you don't even see it, it doesn't ring, it just goes straight to voicemail. Yeah, those are those vampires that we are all exposed to. That's funny. Well, tell me this, what's the #1 way that you solve these problems?
So you know what, oddly enough, the #1 way that I help people in resolving these 3 problems is through my coaching program. And what I teach them is what I call the align system. Because at the end of the day, if you're not in alignment, and if you're not congruent, then building this business is very difficult. So when we look at align, let's just kind of go through it. A is for being authentic. I think as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, it's so important that you're an authentic leader. When you are authentic, your message is able to, when we talk about the marketing, it's able to cut past all of the hype and all of the crap, and people really resonate with you. And once you're authentic and you're stepping in there, the next step is you want to make sure that you are leveraging your talents, your gifts, and your abilities, but also other people. This journey as an entrepreneur, it really is a spiritual path. And one of the best things that you can learn is how to let go, which is very difficult considering we're kind of free spirit.
I'm sorry.
And then the I.
What is letting go?
Let go. Yeah.
Triple A.
We want to hold on to everything. We don't want to delegate. It's like they can't do it as best as me. By the time I explain it, why would I do it? I could just do it myself. Yeah. It's about letting go. It really is. And then the I is all about innovation. I truly believe in this world that we're in right now that you need to innovate, you need to collaborate, or you will die. It is no longer about competition. It's about what we're doing right now, Sabrina. It's like, hey, who do you know and who do I know? Let's collaborate. Let's connect together. Because if we live in this world of abundance, we're not taking away from anything. If anything, we're adding more value to our clients. And then G is all about goal setting, because at the end of the day, you need to set the goals, but they need to be measurable, and you need to track them. And then lastly, to be aligned, you need to be never-ending, constant improving and learning. There is no such thing as I arrive. You always want to be looking at what is next, what is new, how can you grow, how can you expand? Because when people come to me and they say, well, Ray, how are you able to take somebody from scratch, from zero, and in a matter of 10 months they're able to go to $1.2 million? How is that possible? It has to do with how that person saw themselves, right? They saw themselves as a millionaire. And if you're not growing, your income will never grow higher than how you see yourself. So I help them through coaching them through the Align system, and in the process, they get clear on who they're here to serve, they get clear on their message, their values, and they're able to not only connect with the right clients, they're able to attract the right employees as well. Does that make sense?
I love it. And, I couldn't agree with you more. I think we're living in an age if everyone brings their toys to the playground and allows everyone to play with them. We just all get to build better sandcastles and we get to have more fun. And it is. I think collaboration and innovation, I love that. I thought those were excellent points.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what's one tip that you could give a business owner maybe that is feeling like they just can't break through where they are right now?
You know what? It's a tip that's probably counterintuitive from what you hear in the marketplace. And if I could give you one thing, which is always hard for me, if I could say, it is, but the one thing I would encourage people or challenge people to do or not do is to stop chasing the cash. Stop chasing the dollars. Because when you look at anybody, any company, I've had the great fortune over the last 6 months to interview some of the top companies for a book I'm writing. And I've interviewed Zappos, and I've interviewed TRX, and, just a lot of amazing companies, Facebook and Google, to find out specifically what do they do to become America's best places to work. And if you look at any of these CEOs who started this company, what you learn is that none of them was looking to make a lot of money. They were looking to make a difference. And so what I find when we go back to that alignment, when we get off course, it's when we listen to all of the noise, all of the gurus, all of the la 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 la, and we forget to listen to ourselves. And we forget why we're here, and we forget our assignment. And I find that when we do that, that's when we get frustrated. That's when we bump our head. That's when we lose our way. And that's when we find ourselves not working with people we really enjoy working with. It's almost as if we sold our soul, if that makes sense. So stop chasing the cash and truly believe that if you have the right message with the right market, that they will say yes, and the money will follow. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but it is true.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I have to say it's amazing. You can almost tell, you know, we just got done talking with over 100 business owners about their social media strategy, and it's interesting. You can almost tell the difference between the surviving business owners, because they are chasing the cash. They're not clear about their message. They're not really in touch with who they are, what they're up to, and the people who are thriving, and the ones that are thriving are really talking about what you're saying is making a difference. I mean, I love Google's mission statement. It's simply create a positive user experience. You know, and it's like everything, if you look at, everyone gets all upset because Google makes all these updates. Well, all Google cares about is creating the most positive user experience, and they've stuck to that. You know, they've not ever deviated from that. It's always been about creating a positive user experience. Now, do they make money in the process? Absolutely, and that's great. I mean, they've helped lots of small business owners and really businesses all over the world with their free tools, which is, you know, wonderful. So I think you're right. I just love this. This is such great reminders, great rich information for people to really follow. So let me ask you this, and there's no right or wrong to this. So, you know, we don't judge here. How would you define social media?
Okay, so I can battle with people about this whole thing called the social media platform. How I define social media, you know, it's funny because it's almost as if social media replaced, let's use social networking. So when I think of social networking, or I think of networking, I think of offline, you go to the chamber, or you go to some kind of live event, or you go to some other kind of networking event. And typically when you're at those events, it's all about connection. It's all about, let me find out who you are, what you do. That's if you're a good networker, not the one that's just jabbing people with the business card. If you're a good networker, your whole assignment is to find out who this person is. How can I help them? And can they add value, or can I add value to my business? And it's not about doing the deals. So you take that premise offline, and then you put it online, and now it's the same thing. It's all about connection. It's all about relationship. It's all about authenticity, which is a whole nother story. It's all about you showing up and saying, hey, this is who I am. How can I serve you? How can I get to know you? How can I see if I like you? And by the way, because we build a relationship, there is a possibility that we might do business together. So that's how I love social media. That's kind of how I view it, as a place for connection and engagement.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, it is true. I think sometimes people forget there's a actual human being on the other end, you know, because there's a computer, right? They're like, and then they just want to spam you, or they want to, you know, just like you said, shove their business card at them. But I see it happening online as well. So, you know, I love that. I love I'm going to go back to your collaboration and innovation. I mean, there's no better place to do it than online. I mean, you can connect with some of the greatest leaders on the face of the planet and collaborate with them and have some fun. Bring the toys to the sandbox and really have some fun. How are you using?
Oh, sorry. You talk about. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. Well, it's interesting too, because when I think about like this whole collaboration and this whole spamming thing, you know, when I started the International Association of Women Entrepreneurs and Professionals, I didn't particularly like how Facebook was doing their business page. I was like, well, it's really difficult to really connect with people on the business page. Not that you can't, but it's not as intuitive or user-friendly. So I actually started the group on Facebook. And when I did that, we had more interaction, we had more collaboration, we had more connection and engagement. But it also happened because I put down the ground rules. What are the rules of engagement? You talk about playing in a sandbox. Like when I first started, they were like, buy my stuff, go visit this. I mean, it was like spam after spam after spam. And then I said, no, that's not why I built this. I built this for connection and collaboration. So let's give you some rules of engagement. Monday, it's all about motivation. You get to motivate on Monday. So give us a quote, a video. That's what Monday's about. Tuesday, it's all about technology. What's your best tip for technology? Wednesday, it's all about wellness, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial wellness. Thursday is your only day to toot your horn. That is the only day that we allow them to do self-promotion. And then Friday is all about follow-up Friday or follow Friday. That's you following other people's business page, and you in exchange get other people to follow your business page. And then Saturday is all about shout out. It's you looking at who are the people in the community who have supported you that you want to give a hey, atta girl shout out to, and you want to support her business. And because I've created the rules of engagement, we eliminated all that spamming. And I have a 3 strikes, you're out. You know, I warn you the first time. The second time, it's like now. Third time, you're out of the group. Because what I've learned is that by managing and protecting the tribe, we get more engagement and we get more people playing together.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm going to totally take this on. I love those rules of engagement. I have a couple groups, and we used to do 1 strike, and then you're out. And now we just have a no tolerance. And when the minute someone comes into the group, we actually tell them that it's really important that we all play well together here, and to read the About page, which basically says we have a 0 tolerance for spam. Not only will your post be deleted, but you'll be banned permanently. So, you know, I like your 3 strikes, you're out, because it does take a little bit of time. But, you know, I think there's an education point that sometimes people, they don't have hurtful intentions. They just don't know anybody. They haven't learned that they're not supposed to throw sand in the sandbox yet, right? They just come in there and think that's what they're supposed to do, because what else are they supposed to do, right?
That's right. And it's funny because the people are saying, oh, thank God. I mean, like, wow, you're actually giving us how to play. We have clear directives, right? And I think because of that, and I mean, a lot of times when you go to groups, you don't have that. And people model, right? So they go to somebody else's group, they see what other people's doing, they think that's acceptable and that's what they're supposed to do because they're not taught. So as a coach, my job is to hold you accountable, and my job is to make sure that you know what the rules are so you are successful. And I give them 3 times now. It gets tricky because you have people from it's international associations, so the Australians. It's like, well, it's really our, you know, they're off by 1 day. But I'm like, okay, you need to manage. I know. So we like, yeah, I know, but still, we're in the U.S., so I hate to do that, but you need to kind of manage that. And once they get it and they get into that habit, it's been amazing to watch the group grow.
That's hilarious. I wouldn't even have thought about that. So how are you using social media in your business right now?
So that is one of the ways that I'm doing. So basically how that works is that we created this community. From that group, we're actually leading people to our actual web page where people get to join our membership. And we're using Facebook as a funnel to do that. So really love that, love connecting with people. And to me, it's funny because I was trying to get engaged with Twitter and I realized I'm not good with Twitter. So I'm a true believer that if you can find one platform that you can master that first before you try to do everything else, because you're just going to be overwhelmed. And so I've enjoyed leveraging Facebook, whether it's in the groups or the fan page or their event page or their Facebook ads. It is my favorite platform, and more so than even LinkedIn, which most of the businesses are hanging out.
That's interesting. I love it. So what's your number 1 recommendation for people as it relates to social media for their business?
My number 1 recommendation is to create a strategy. It's like, why are you there? What is the purpose for you being in social media? What is the purpose for you being on the platform? You know, I remember taking your social media training, which by far one of the best trainings I've ever taken in regards to social media. So if you have not checked out Sabrina's training, if she's still offering that, I would highly recommend that. And the piece that I remember is all about being authentic, right? It's being authentic and showing up. You know, it's like that individual who says, well, can I have a business page, and what about my profile page, and I don't want them to mix. And I'm like, why? So it shows me that you're not being authentic. It shows me that you're wearing this mask thing.
I love it.
So to me, if you can't be authentic, if you can't be who you are, then why are you on there? You know, so that would be the number one rule, is to show up authentically. Have a strategy. What is the purpose of it? Is it for you to drive traffic? Is it is it for you to build exposure? What is your main focus? And then create a game plan to make sure that you're hitting it and that you're tracking it, because what we don't measure, we don't improve.
That is so good. And thank you so much. I really appreciated the feedback on the training. I mean, obviously that's a huge passion of mine, and I couldn't agree with you more. Actually, I love your whole align system. If you applied that even into social media, that's phenomenal. I mean, you're right. It is. People think that, what I do in my personal life is no one's business in my business. But the reality of it is when we get into business meetings and you really start to develop deep relationships, what do you naturally talk about? Oh, you talk about your dogs, you talk about your kids, you talk about your ski trips, you talk about, whatever. And if you're not, then you're not really truly engaging on a personal level. I mean, even when I sold to some of the biggest buyers in the world, SeaWorld and the Six Flags and the Winchell's and coffee houses all over the world. The buyers and I became close. I mean, I knew when I'd call them, I'd be like, "Hey, how's your dog Scruffy?" or whatever. And that's really what makes business fun, is when we can actually mix that personal and business. But you're right; it's about being authentic. I love that. So how are you, Miss Ray Majors-Wildman? How are you? Because every time I seem to talk with you, you definitely make me say wow. How are you putting the wow in your business, or what's really differentiating you from everyone else out there?
Oh my goodness. So I'm all about delivering a wow experience for my clients and for my peeps, my tribe. Even if you're not a client, meaning you haven't given me money, if you're in my community, I consider you my peeps and my tribe. And I look for ways to wow people. Here's how beautiful social media is. I mean, there is no platform that can help you deliver wow more than social media. So what do I mean by that? I'll use an example of what my clients did for me, and then I'll reverse it, what I do for them. I was at an event, and anyone who's ever heard me talk, if you watch any kind of videos, somewhere along the way I talk about my desire to basically give back the 5 pounds that does not belong to me to the universe. Now, as much as I want to give that 5 pounds back, I love Twinkies. I love Twinkies. And I was so happy when Hostess went. I was sad. I was like, oh, Hostess going bankrupt? But I was like, yay, no Twinkies. And then Twinkies came back, right? Twinkies returned. So do you know my clients, because they know that, because they've seen that in social media, they actually came to my event and they presented me with this beautiful Twinkie box that they all signed. I was like, you are not helping me. But is that a wow experience or not? The other thing that you could do on Facebook, it shows the interest. It shows what people like. So I've done anything as far as give people their favorite music, to sending them tickets to their favorite, like for instance, Keith Urban. It's like, oh, I love Keith. Okay, let me send you some tickets to see Keith because I know he's in your neighborhood. And you can see that because of the interest. It doesn't have to be something expensive. It could be something as simple as a little box of Twinkies, or if you know somebody that's a huge Starbucks fan, you could actually go on Facebook and send them a card. You gotta love that. So it's looking at how can you give them that wow experience in a world where everything feels like, do people actually care? It's customer service. It's great customer service. Does it even exist? My commitment is that when people leave my space, that they feel like that I actually care, because I do, and they feel that I actually see them as an individual, because they are not a number, and I actually am honored to have them part of my community. So I look for little things, whether it's their birthdays, their kids' birthdays, their anniversary, you know, sports, entertainment, what do they like to do, and then I make sure I try to deliver it. Not try, I do deliver it to them so that they have that kind of like that VIP experience, or the glove experience, as I like to call it.
I love that. That is awesome. Well, you are just so much fun. I mean, I've actually learned a lot just in our short time here together, and I can only imagine how many other people would like to learn from you. So where can they get in contact with you, Ray?
So, Sabrina, I would invite people, if they want to learn more about me and how they can grow their business in a place of alignment, then I would invite them to visit my website, Majors-Wildman.com. And as you can see on my third, what is this thing called? The third, whatever.
The lower third.
On my lower third, I am kind of like a Google Hangout virgin. Woo! I'm super excited about technology. So on the lower third, you will see my name spelled out. Just add the .com, no hyphen, and that is where you will be able to get my free gifts, my free training. I do webinars, and I have some amazing giveaways to help you jumpstart your business.
And how do people get on that group that you mentioned, that International Women's Group, because that sounds pretty cool too?
So if they go to Facebook, all you have to do is go to facebook.com/IAWEP. Again, that's IAWEP.
Very cool. Well, I thoroughly enjoy you. I know that I have to thank Joel Bauer again for connecting us, another amazing human being, and just really, I just love you. I mean, I really appreciate what you're up to and what you're doing for businesses, and thank you so much for being so generous with your tips and your information and your gifts. I mean, you just are always giving, which I love. So I just want to hopefully have you back, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me today and taking on Google Hangouts. Woo! That's very cool. Well, are there any last things that you want to share before we leave? Like one more last thought that you want to share with the audience?
You know what? The only thing that I would share with the audience is that many times, especially women, if you have women here, ladies, a lot of times we wait for permission for us to step and play a bigger game. And what I will share with you is that if you're in this space of entrepreneurship, it is a spiritual path. It is a spiritual path, and all of your BS will show up. Your BS stands for your backstory and your belief systems. What you must learn is that in order for you to really grow, it's not about you. Because at the end of the day, your gift, talents, and abilities and the pain that you've gone through and the experience that you've learned, it's not for you. It's for you to share it with the world, because you are the answer to someone's prayers. And when you don't step up, when you are not visible, when you are hiding, someone is suffering because they can't find you. I will challenge you to be visible. I will challenge you to stand out. And I will promise you that if you do those two, coming from a place of authenticity, you will find that your income will grow.
Good. I'm so glad I asked. You spoke to my heart there. I think we all sometimes forget to play bigger, or to think bigger, or get out of our own way and just really go for it. So that was really great, Ray. Thank you so much for that. That was very inspiring. Well, I hope to have you back, and I really appreciate you being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So this is Sabrina Gibson. I'm with Imagine Wow, and we get to play with the coolest people in the sandbox. I hope you come back and see our other amazing experts just like Ray, and please connect with her and get inspired and get out of your own way and make big things happen. So I will see you on the flip side, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.